Fred. So you make it about 3 times a week down here?
3 or 4.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good for anybody.
I usually stay in for about an hour when I get in.
In the pool?
Hour and 45 minutes,
That's
yeah.
a
Something
long
like
time.
that. Well, part of it I do swim in about 30 minutes, and then the rest of it's flexibility stuff, stretching.
Sure.
And the water's buoyant, so you, where muscles are weak, you can still carry some weight with them, maybe not as much. I can do my chin-ups on the starting blocks. A few things like that. Use what still works.
I noticed that you didn't park in the handicap space.
I thought I'd leave that for somebody with a handicap.
I'll get run over running across the street.
Huh? Yeah. How are you, Kim?
All right.
Am I supposed to look at you or?
No, don't worry about it. I say kind of ignore me unless you want to say something.
Day, sir. Let me grab a couple of towels.
Okay.
And you want the microphone?
Yeah. I did want to. I was going to try and talk to you a little more. You put in quite a day.
Oh, thank you.
I think it's quite busy, and you mentioned that one of the effects of MS is fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, it's kind of a heavy, tired feeling. Sometimes your feet feel like it does when you're walking through mud with boots on. You know, that's kind of a heavy feeling, and moving your legs around, it gets to be like that. And sometimes your hands. I suppose in some ways I consider myself sort of fortunate because I don't have a major problem with that. Sometimes I do. Actually, after I go work out and swim, I'll cool my body temperature down, and I'll get my muscles stretched out a little bit, and I'll probably, as I do most of the time, feel better and be able to move better, and I'll even look cleaner in a whole bit, you know. But anyway, swimming has been a real good exercise for me.
as a doctor, I mean, in the medical profession, you see things a little differently from a disease standpoint. Do you? I'm trying to. How you are on? You help out the MS Society. You're on a board or something.
Yeah, I used to be mad at the MS Society, and they got me to go be a little bit more involved. And I learned more about them and found that what they're doing is probably the single agency that's doing the most to try to find a cure and to improve treatments for the symptoms of MS or multiple sclerosis. It's the most common neurological disease affecting young people. It usually strikes somewhere in the midlife between the ages of 25, 45. It's when most people first come down with MS. And then it can follow various patterns ranging from rather benign, where you have one experience and someone makes that diagnosis, to where it's a rather fulminant course, being very rapid and progressive as it occurs, so that over a very short time someone's completely unable to do much of anything. So.
We talked about earlier when you initially found out, when you were diagnosed. Did you, I mean, what did you say? What did you think at that time? Did you happen to say, why me? Or did you feel anything like that?
Well, I think that's the initial response that people have, and I can remember in 1979, after I came home from being diagnosed at the hospital in Indianapolis, that I was probably going through the same kind of grief reactions that anyone would, because I anticipated that I probably had the fulminant form and my life was probably going to last about 5 years, and I had to come to the acceptance phase that this is what's happened, this is what I have, now let's deal with it. It's not going to be bigger than life itself, and I've tried to keep it in perspective. Most of the time I think life and the enjoyments of life and family and friends is maintain a larger proportion, and once in a while the disease gets bigger, and I have to respect that. You know, when I have a relapse, that I need to let myself be able to rest if that's what I need, or not work out quite as hard as I would normally. Those kind of things.
You know, again, medical profession, you know what causes it, or what, not causes it, but how it affects. You know, do you ever think of a cure?
Oh yeah, I think about those things a lot, and one of my other roles, besides being on the board of directors, I'm the research advocate for Indiana, so I get updates on current research in MS, and I also, the hospital at Ball Hospital in Muncie provides me with the regular monthly and weekly even reviews of what's current in the medical literature about MS. So I feel like I'm very current in my knowledge about what's available for treating MS. Unfortunately, there's only been one drug that was released this past year, beta-seron, that's been found to be effective in decreasing the number of relapses that a person has. Unfortunately, it costs about $10,000 a year. It isn't covered by most insurance companies yet, so it's largely inaccessible to many people with multiple sclerosis, and it's only appropriate for the few who have been diagnosed early in the disease, are still very ambulatory, and then it seems to have a very positive effect. It's under research now for use in the chronic progressive form of MS, which would be the category I fit into now. Having had it since 1979, over these years it's reached a point where it isn't as dramatic. I'm not plagued by sudden total loss of my vision and that kind of an unpredictability, or the loss of use of an extremity or some other part of my body. So I'm in that chronic progressive phase where I just kind of, the relapses aren't as dramatic, but when it happens, it just kind of, I don't recover quite as much as I used to.
We'll talk a little bit about the award. What do you think about being honored? They gave you the title of the award is the Courage Award.
Well, I think it's a tremendous honor, but I think there are so many people out there that are so deserving of the award. I don't know that I've done anything courageous other than just live with the condition that anyone else would live with. And in some ways, I think maybe I have done good with it. In other ways, perhaps I could do better. And I'm sure there are people out there who face many more obstacles in the course of the disease they experienced than I have or than I do now. I don't know, I guess I've been blessed with good friends, faith in God, and things that make life have a lot of meaning.
Very good.
Yeah, get myself all wired up here.
That's brand new. Get them over. Hey, I wanted to tell you before
I'll try to get myself wired up here. Oh, that is fantastic. Yeah, I can see as good as I can with my regular glasses. This is all right. Nice symphony.
WBST then?
Little BST here, yeah? Need a little more speed. See ya.
Be sure and just get a couple things. And is Sunday kind of family day for you?
Yeah, we usually manage to have some time on Sunday that we just kind of spend it together, and meals are a good time. Everybody likes to eat. So we'll do something that, commonly we end up going to church. We're so busy during the day that this seems to be a time that we can be together. Like today, Teresa's lifeguarding, so she's not here, but just happened to work out that way.
Sorry that I missed her.
Yeah, she's the one that played volleyball.
Oh, good.
That's Teresa, so you got her.
Good.
And Michelle leaves for Purdue tomorrow.
Keep track of everybody.
Yeah.
You said what I wanted to get on tape.
And we just kind of have a social time, a few laughs, and do stuff together, and try to have projects that we were doing together, like Mike's helping me do this thing. Seems like it works better when I stay out of it and let him build the birdhouses. We have a joke that when he was in Cub Scouts, they had a birdhouse kit that we had to build. And by the time we finished, he had done more watching than building. And I think it was me, his father, that was doing all the building and not much watching. This is how you do that, and it was done, and before you know it. So that's been kind of a joke between the two of us about who built the birdhouse, who built the birdhouse. And so now with the cooking thing, I kind of back off a little bit, and Mike gets in there and does the meat turning and getting things going, and putting in his different touches to flavor things up.